It's accountability time because Mike Korzemba was very right about some of the stuff that he suggested about the Lakers. Even as time went on, we found out there might be some potential shadiness in terms of specific players being promised specific roles to bait them into signing with the Lakers. But to start this off, let's discuss their playoff exit. In terms of my perception of LeBron James, in terms of my perception on his legacy, and just in terms of my perception on our season as a whole, it was disappointing because in my head, the ideal NBA Finals matchup for me, and you guys are NBA fans, you guys could comment on this, would be the Lakers meet the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA Finals. That would have been probably the most dramatic, the best storyline. In my head, that's what I wanted to see. So in that sense, I am disappointed. But at the same time, I do understand that this is a team that had Anthony Davis come back like the day of the play-in. Dennis Schroeder came back. LeBron James came back, and he wasn't even fully healthy. You had all of these, and then they had 57 days of rest as well. And although I was very emotional when the Lakers lost a couple of games to the Phoenix Suns, at the end of the day, LeBron's only human. The Lakers are only human. Hopefully they rest up and we got a superstar or two, and we'll be back to dominating.
So personally, I'd like to see the Nets and the Clippers in the finals. I think that's the best case scenario for me, especially with Kevin Durant having like 2 rings and Kawhi having 2, right? Am I right there? They both have 2 rings.
Yes.
Yeah, so superstar small forwards, legacies being built. They're still, I don't want to say they're still young, but they still have a lot of time left in the NBA. We need something after LeBron, Kawhi, KD. Legacy's being built. I mean, I'd love to see them match up and duke it out.
All right, so what you're saying is you would rather have, like, going into the playoffs, you would rather have had the Clippers over the Lakers because you kind of want, like, the heir apparent to LeBron James to already start establishing itself.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, cool.
100%.
I like that thought process. We'll talk about the Milwaukee Bucks with the Nets. I personally would have loved to see Giannis take a pretty big leap this postseason. I mean, you don't want to count a team out 2 games into the playoffs, but losing to the James Harden-less Brooklyn Nets by like 40 points is not exactly the biggest sign. I mean, with that in mind, I don't think the Clippers are the most exciting team, so I'm gonna go. I don't think the Clippers are the most exciting team. I will stand by that. I'm gonna go with. I want to watch in the NBA Finals. I would have said Luka if we were going for, an heir to LeBron in terms of, marketability and all that. But I want to see the Phoenix Suns keep going. I want to see the Phoenix Suns make the NBA Finals at this point because I think that they are not getting enough credit for the way that they played against the Los Angeles Lakers. All we're really hearing mostly is everything that went wrong with the Lakers. We're hearing Andre Drummond struggled. We'll get into that. We're hearing LeBron was injured, AD was injured, Dennis Schroeder took out Lakers point guard out of his Instagram bio before the series had already ended. But we're not hearing enough about how good the Phoenix Suns have been, how good Devin Booker was. Like, we've never seen playoff Book before. That has never been a thing that we've been able to talk about.
Yeah, so guys, we are capping off the giveaway to the first 40,000 subscribers that turn on our notifications for the Laced Up podcast. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X is subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to do us a favor, leave a like on the pod and let me know in the comment section down below when it's done. You'll enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X.
The man averaged about 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists per game in the first round against the Lakers. He was absolutely incredible. Deandre Ayton, I think, has established himself as a legitimate all-star looking player going forward. He looks like just a very, very solid starting center. And Chris Paul did his thing. Despite the injury, he looked great. Game 1 in the second round. And also then you've got pieces like Mikal Bridges, who, like, that guy, it just looks like a championship piece. He looks like a championship role player. And I'm just very excited for the Phoenix Suns' future. I can't wait to see where they go from here. And I think that we could be looking at, they're the number 2 seed. They just haven't gotten as much respect as they should be getting. But I think we could see them in the NBA Finals. Do you guys agree or disagree with the Suns?
So one, I do agree, and I'll get to why I agree in a second. But the main reason that to respond to Coop, the main reason why I believe that the Lakers would have been way better in the NBA Finals than the Clippers is there's just significantly more storylines going on there. In addition to them being the defending champs, in addition to, it being LeBron versus Kyrie, it would have been really nice to see, hey, Kyrie finally got his own team. He could go take on his old mentor. I would have really liked to see that. We're not getting it. It's whatever. On to the Phoenix Suns. I don't know. I was actually thinking about this yesterday as to, in my head, and bear in mind, guys, at the time we're recording this, the Brooklyn Nets are up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks. In my head, I'm trying to ponder. In my head, first of all, the Brooklyn Nets seem like the most likely team that are going to make it to the NBA Finals. In my head, I think they're going to win the NBA Finals. It's like I'm getting a 2017-ish vibe from this entire situation, where I already know at this point that Kevin Durant's just going to waltz into the NBA Finals. They're going to dominate whoever they face off in the NBA Finals, and that's that. And even that's despite us not being that deep into the playoffs. And I was wondering, what team from the West matches up with the Brooklyn Nets the best? Because the Phoenix Suns are a fantastic team that can match up with them. You have Mikal Bridges, you have Jay Crowder, you have DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. That's like a good combination of scoring and defense that could win some games, and that could at least swing some of the odds in their direction should they make it. But I don't know. Coop, do you agree with Korzemba and I? Do you think the Suns are probably the best matchup?
To touch on what you said about LeBron and the storylines, I'm kind of tired of seeing Bron in the finals. I love Bron, but it's time for a change, man. So, I also would love to see the Suns in the finals, just like Korzemba, because Monty Williams, Chris Paul, I got that whole Hornets Pelicans thing going for me. But I think the Suns are deep, and I think they have the ability to play any style of basketball, and I think that's scary. I think they can go small. I think they're versatile. I think Ayton has became a completely different player, which is kind of weird to see. Ayton is not going out and trying to give you 25 points on the block like, maybe Ayton passed. A lot of young bigs have trouble finding their niche sometimes and settling into a role, and we've watched Ayton do this spectacularly, like with the Phoenix Suns, and I feel like it really has not gotten enough love. I know people have given Ayton, a good bit of height and a good bit of credit for him somewhat dominating the Lakers, but I still feel like we're not talking about his role for this Phoenix Suns team enough.
Yeah, and even in game 1 against the Denver Nuggets, man comes out with a nice 20-10 game, and Jokic doesn't have the best game. He plays, decently well, but 22-9. DeAndre Ayton has absolutely, I would say, become the X factor for this Phoenix Suns team, and I completely agree with you, Coop. When you're a young big man, it is definitely hard for you to kind of just fit within your role. Especially if you look at the case of DeAndre Ayton, he was a number 1 pick. Before that, his whole life, he's being given the ball every chance he gets. He's being told, put the ball in the basket as much as you can. Now he's on a Phoenix team where it's like, score around 15 points, but do everything else. Grab rebounds, play great defense inside. Do all the things that help you win games. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're gonna love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.